Hey guys, welcome back to my channel again. My name is Vance. In today's tutorial guys, I'll be teaching you how to do this back pleated V skirt. Although this is not a skirt, it's actually a gown, but I'll be showing you the step-by-step process of how I was able to achieve these pleats with ease. And this pleat is actually a cut together. If you're interested in this tutorial, let's get right into it. So basically guys, this is the fabric I'll be using. So guys, I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two. Now I'm marking out my hip line, which is 10, my knee line 19 inches, and the full length of my skirt is 40. So I'll mark it down. When I'm done with that part guys, I'll go ahead and take my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 29.5 divided by 4, 7.3. I went ahead to add my allowance. My hip measurement is 40. I marked it, added my allowance. My knee measurement, I added my hip, and then instead of 2 inches allowance, I made it of 1 inch allowance. So whatever I got on the knee guys, I repeated it down to the full length of my skirt. So I went ahead to connect my points together just the way you see me doing like this. So when I'm done connecting the points together, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut it out. So guys, when I'm done cutting it out, the next thing I'm going to do is for me to fold my fabric to cut out the parts that we'll be using for the pleats. So this is my skirt. I'll go ahead and notch. So you see that part I notch is where my lining is going to stop. So I'll go ahead and trim out the excesses that is not equal at the down part of our skirt block. So I'll go ahead and use my chalk to indicate the back side. So this is my fabric. I'm going ahead to fold the fabric into two. For this fabric I used 21 inches. 22 is too wide, so I went ahead to refold it to make it 21 inches. That's the width of our skirt is 21 inches. So this is the 21 and I'm satisfied. So I'll go ahead and place my front block on the folded fabric, and then guys, I'll go ahead and extend my line. That's my hip line. I'll extend it to the back, and my knee line I'll extend it to the back. So for the part I'll be using for the pleats, I'll be using 9 inches. So you see that's the 9 inches I marked there. So for my hip, that's where I'm going to put my zip allowance. I'll be using 2 inches for my hip, and then 1.5 for my waist. And then on my knee, I'm not going to be adding anything on my knee. I'm just going to connect it direct to my waistline. So I'll go ahead and extend my lines where the pleat is going to stop. So basically that's all for the back cutting. So for the back drafting, sorry. So I'll go ahead and cut. So watch guys, watch closely how I'm able to cut this back part of the skirt, because this is our major emphasis in this tutorial. So basically I'm cutting out the zip part of this skirt. So you can see I'm going ahead now to cut out the back, the part where I'm going to pleat. You can see I did not open the back, I did not open the other side, I just left it like that. Okay guys, what I'm trying to say is I did not cut out the 9 inches. I left it there on fold. So I went ahead to separate my front block and my back block away from each other. So I went ahead to mark out the wrong side. When I'm done guys, I'm going to fold my lining piece so that I can be able to cut out my back block. That's my back, the back side of my skirt. So first of all, I'm going to cut the front. So I've gone ahead to place my front fabric on the lining. Then guys, after folding it, I'll go ahead and cut it out. So guys, this was when I was cutting it out. Remember that part that we notched, that is where my lining is going to stop. I'm going to show you how I was able to cut it out. So just hold on, then you will see how I cut it out. The lining will not get to the full length of the skirt. The lining is going to stop halfway because I want the fabric to be to come up under the skirt. I don't want you to immediately see the skirt and then you now see the lining. So this is what I'm trying to explain. So basically that's where the lining stops. As you can see, our fabric is still very much enough for the turning of the lining and the fabric. So guys, I'm folding my lining now so that I can be able to cut out the back part of our dress. So the folded part of the lining will also blend with the folded part of our fabric. I don't know if you get. As you can see at that point, it's folded. You see it's folded there. So I'll go ahead and cut. So you see both lining and fabric are folded. So I'll go ahead and cut the other part of my skirt. If you notice, I've already gone ahead to notch where the lining is going to stop. So basically guys, this was me cutting out the linings. So you have to watch carefully how I'm cutting it. So this was it when I was done. So I'm going to take up my fabric just like this. I'm going to check how many inches I use. For the front I use 3 inches. For the back too, I'm going to use 3 inches. So this was me marking out my 3 inches, exactly 3 inches. I'll go ahead and cut out the lining. So basically when we turn it, it will not just be just the lining, but the fabric will not come up. So basically that's it guys. So I'll go ahead and open up my fabric and place my lining on the right side of the lining. Will be facing the right side of the fabric, just the way you see me doing guys. Then I'll go ahead and then sew it down. I'll be sewing it down by 1/2 inch. So when I'm done sewing it guys, I'll show you how it looks like. So guys, this was when I was done sewing, as you can see. So I'll go ahead. You can see the back vent is already looking good. Yes. So basically I'll go ahead and notch that part, the L part of our back skirt. So you can see when I turned it, the fabric came up. So this was me notching this sharp edge so that I can easily turn it out. It will not give me issues while I'm ironing. I don't know if you get, but if you're actually going to follow this tutorial, I want you to do exactly what I'm doing now, notching that part of the skirt so that you can easily turn. It's not going to give you stress when you're ironing. That's the essence of the notches there. So basically guys, I'm going ahead to turn the skirt. When I'm done turning the skirt, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the ironing table. I'm going to iron it out and then I'll show you how it looks like. So basically guys, this was it when I was done turning. I was done ironing too. As you can see, our skirt is already coming out so pretty. Are you seeing the turn up that we did with the fabric and the lining? It's so clean. Yes guys, so the next thing I'm going to do is, are you seeing the other part? We didn't open it up, so I'm basically opening everything up for you to see how neat it is. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close my zip allowance. So I'll go to my sewing machine and then sew it down just like this, and I will stop at that point. So I'm going to use my chalk to mark that point. That's where you will stop. Don't go. So guys, it's advisable not to go beyond that part. So you just sew your zip allowance and stop there. So basically when I'm done sewing guys, I'll show you how it looks like. So this was when I was done sewing. The next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and iron it, and also iron the midpoint of where we are going to start the pleat from. So basically this was when I was done ironing. So this is our midpoint. That point is our midpoint. So I'm going to match it midpoint of our back and pleat, meeting up with the midpoint of our zip allowance. I don't know if you get midpoint facing midpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and pin down the midpoint together. So this was when I was pinning down the midpoint. So I'm going to go ahead now and iron it out. just the way you see me doing. Guys, you need to pay attention to this part because this is the main part of this tutorial. So basically, guys, when I'm done ironing and I'm satisfied with how the ironing is, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this midpoint again, and then I'm going to place it like this. I'll pin it down, and then I'll iron. So this was when I was ironing it. So this is how it's going to be going like that in sequence. So I'm ironing it out to make it, to give it that pleat that I want. So the next thing I'm going to do again, I'll pick up the midpoint. That's when I'm done ironing now. I'll pick up the midpoint again. I'm going to pin it down and I'll iron. Just like that, on and on, depending on how big you want your pleat to be. If you want it to be smaller, then you can pleat it as much as you want. But for me, I didn't actually want it to be too small or too big. I wanted it to be moderate. So I went ahead again, picked up the midpoint, placed it on it, ironed just like this. And then I'll do the same thing for the other part. Pick up the midpoint, pin it down, iron it, just like that. It goes like that in sequence, guys. So guys, after ironing, you go ahead and stitch it down. So basically, when I was done stitching it, this is how it looks. God, it's so beautiful. Please guys, if this is your first time coming across my channel, do well to subscribe to my video, like, share, leave a comment in the comment section, and I'm going to see you in my next tutorial. Bye guys.